And that's a 15-year felony. So if you are found guilty by a jury, you can go to prison for up to 15 years. So Mr. Musgrove, I know where you're going with this, and none of that is valid. None of that is law.
I'm not the all caps name. Of course.
None of that is valid. None of that is law. You are standing in my courtroom. I have jurisdiction over you. Still a crime. Still a crime.
But I'm not
still
a corporation. I'm a living person.
Yep, and that's why you're standing in front of me. If you were dead, the case would be dismissed.
All right, folks, buckle in, because today's hearing is a classic example of what happens when a so-called sovereign citizen thinks they can outsmart the court. And let me tell you, it does not go well. We start with Mr. Daggermar, the public defender, standing up and saying he's here to assist. But his client, Mr. Musgrove, wants to go it alone. Right there, my red flags go up. Anytime a defendant decides they know better than...
So, Mr. Daggermar goes in, how do you wish to proceed?
Well, Your Honor, I am aware that Mr. Musgrove wants to present information to the court. I'm happy to be standby counsel if he wants to represent himself. Obviously, this court would have to go through the colloquy of that, but obviously it's Mr. Musgrove's legal right to at least ask the court to do that. So I'm here to observe at this point.
All right. So, Mr. Musgrove, when you were at the bench or up at the podium before, you said that you were appearing on behalf of yourself. So, Mr. Musgrove, are you asking to no longer have counsel represent you?
Well, what I'm understanding is that the courts is a private for-profit.
So, Mr. Musgrove, I know where you're going with this, and none of that is valid. None of that is law.
I'm not the all caps name. Of course.
None of that is valid. None of that is law. You are standing in my courtroom. I have jurisdiction over you. So
I tried to file paperwork with the clerk's office ahead of time so that you would have time to review it, and they denied me.
I know what you're talking about. None of that is valid under the law of the state of Michigan or the Constitution.
Their attorney, you know it's about to get messy. So the judge looks at Musgrove and asks point blank, "Are you trying to fire your lawyer and represent yourself?" And that's when the circus begins. Musgrove launches into the tired old sovereign citizen script. "Well, this court is private. I'm not the all caps name. Jurisdiction doesn't apply to me." The judge cuts him off immediately. "None of that is valid. None of that is law. You're standing in my courtroom. I have jurisdiction over you." And boom, just like that,
What do you mean it is?
No.
The Supreme Court says it is.
What does it say it is?
The Supreme Court says that we were at the age of 18, we were supposed to claim our minor status.
Nope, not valid.
Okay.
So here's what I would say to you. Mr. Daggermar goes in is, like most of our public defenders, exceptional attorneys and very well versed in the law and very experienced. He gives legal advice. You may not like the legal advice, but it's usually good advice. I've never had anyone from the public defender's office not wholeheartedly try to represent their clients. So what you are talking about is not valid, and it is not going to get you out of this case. You're not going to be able to say all those things because it's not valid.
Everyone involved in this court case has a financial interest in the case.
I don't have a financial interest in your case. I get paid by the state of Michigan, whether you plead, whether it gets dismissed. I don't make any money off you. We have budgets. The court system is not a profit generating revenue. We are here to represent people so that people who are charged with crimes are protected. People who are victims of crimes are protected. And that's why we have all these.
In order for there to be a crime, there has to be a victim. There is no.
Well, there is a victim in this case.
The victim would be the company.
You are charged.
I can't face
actually. Just hold on. So your crime that you are charged with, which you are innocent as of this time, let me grab the right file, is failure. Oh, this is let me see. This is an embezzlement charge. So you are charged in count one with embezzlement 50,000 or more, but less than 100,000. that being an agent, servant, or employee of Hardwoods of Michigan Industries did convert to your own use without the consent of your employer or principal, industrial tools and equipment in the amount of $68,938.40 or money or equipment. And that's a 15-year felony. So if you are found guilty by a jury, you can go to prison for up to 15 years.
Judge shuts the nonsense down. Now let's pause here for a second. Why do sovereign citizens always harp on this all caps name theory? As if the capitalization of their name magically makes them free from legal responsibility. It doesn't even make sense. If that logic held up, half of us could walk out of speeding tickets by saying, "Sorry, officer, that wasn't me, that was the all caps version of me." Please. It's laughable. Musgrove tries to push back again, talking about paperwork he filed that the clerk supposedly denied. But the judge isn't budging.
You're charged in count 2 with using a computer to commit a crime. To facilitate the charge in count 1, that carries a maximum penalty of up to 10 years in prison. And the way the statute's set up, I can actually stack those possibly. So you potentially could be looking at up to 25 years in prison. So the victim that's alleged in this would be that business.
Right, and I can't face that accuser because that business can't get on the stand for me to ask questions, and a third party.
But their
can't stand
representative
it.
can. Yes, they can. Yes,
They
they
can?
can. Yes, they
Okay.
can. So I have $189,000 of student loan debt that was forgiven to be a lawyer. You do not. And Mr. Dagger Margosian, Mr. Isaac Sneed, all of the attorneys here went to law school to know the law, and their job is to advise you of the law. So
Yeah,
yes,
but
they
they're
can.
going-
Yes,
They're
you
going
can be
by
charged.
everything, all the
can't-
laws and statutes that you guys go by
Are
for
legal.
corporations. They're for
Still a crime. Still a crime.
But I'm not
Still a
a business
crime.
corporation, I'm a living person.
Yep, and that's why you're
Okay.
standing in front of me. If you were dead, the case would be dismissed.
Yeah, the all caps name is that.
That means nothing. That's not valid. It's
Okay.
not legal.
right.
So do you want to represent yourself or do you want to have an attorney to represent you?
I need some time to think.
Okay, so I'm gonna set this for another pretrial on March 20th at 8:30 in the morning. And Miss Adams, could I get a notice of hearing for Miss?
Not valid under the law of Michigan, not valid under the Constitution. Period. The deal thing is, the judge actually goes out of his way to defend the public defender here. He tells Musgrove flat out, "Your attorney is experienced, he's here to help, and whether you like his advice or not, it's legal advice." What you're talking about? Nonsense. And he's right. Then comes the reality check. The judge pulls the file. Musgrove isn't here over some minor infraction. He's facing serious charges. Count 1, embezzlement. We're talking over $68,000 worth of tools and equipment stolen from his employer. That alone is a 15-year felony if convicted. 15 years. And that's just the start. Count 2, using a computer to commit a crime stacked right on top of the embezzlement charge. That could put him away for another 10 years. Which means, depending on how the court runs it, this man is potentially staring down a 25-year prison sentence. But instead of facing reality, Musgrove doubles down. He says, "Well, I can't face the company in court. A business can't take the stand." Nice try. The judge shoots right back. Their representatives can, and they will. At this point, the courtroom tension is thick. You can feel the judge's patience running thinner with every sovereign citizen buzzword Musgrove throws out. The law is clear, the charges are heavy, and this guy, he's digging himself a deeper hole with every word, and it only gets worse from here. Now here's where the whole thing really unravels. Musgrove leans back in with the classic sovereign citizen line. "All these laws you follow only apply to corporations. I'm not a corporation, I'm a living man." And the judge, he doesn't even flinch. He looks Musgrove dead in the eye and says, "That's why you're standing in front of me." If you were dead, the case would be dismissed. But you're alive, which means you're facing these charges. That one line right there says it all. Sovereign citizen logic gets destroyed in a single sentence. But does Musgrove stop? Of course not. He keeps talking about the all caps name being dead, keeps trying to argue that none of this is real. Meanwhile, the judge is spelling it out as simply as he can. This is valid. These are real charges. This is a real court. And you, sir, are in real trouble. Then comes the moment of truth. The judge gives him a choice. Do you want to represent yourself or do you want an attorney? And what does Musgrove do? He panics. Suddenly, all that sovereign bravado starts to crack. He stammers out, I need more time to think. So, the judge sets another pretrial date and moves the case forward. But let's be honest here. Musgrove isn't buying himself more time. He's just delaying the inevitable. Because when you're facing felony embezzlement charges stacked with a computer crime enhancement, no amount of sovereign paperwork or all-caps arguments is going to save you. Here's the bigger picture, though. Judges really don't like sovereign citizen antics. They've heard it all before, and it just wastes the court's time. Every time Musgrove opened his mouth with another half-baked theory, you could see the judge's patience draining away. And in a courtroom, wasting a judge's patience is one of the fastest ways to make sure your sentence isn't lenient. So here's the reality. Musgrove is standing on the edge of a cliff. He's facing up to 25 years, and instead of taking solid, legal advice from his attorney, he's banking on arguments he probably pulled from an internet forum. If he keeps this up, he's not just walking into a trial, he's walking into a disaster. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the judge eventually hands him a permanent seat in that courtroom, because with every outburst, he's proving exactly why sovereign citizen logic doesn't stand a chance in the real world. But what do you think? Is Musgrove going to wise up before trial? Or is he on track to crash and burn like every other sovereign citizen we've seen? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more wild courtroom showdowns.